Right, let's go live. Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Thursday the 19th of October. So, what we got lined up for today, let's look at the risk events first. Well, there's a lot of risk events kicking out there, but let's just look at what we got in terms of news events themselves. We've seen the employment, let's just update this. So we've seen the employment data changing here. Employment change wasn't anywhere near as expected. It fell down. However, unemployment rate fell also. So mixed bag on the employment front. For Australia, there we've seen the markets move on that basis. So for the rest of the day, really looking forward to this afternoon, and it's not major action here on employment claims. It's a weekly figure. It doesn't have a massive impact. It should be orange, not red. Existing home sales, again, more like yellow than orange. It doesn't have the impact that it used to. And we've got Fed Chair Powell speaking. Well, depending on where he's speaking, due to speak at the Economic Club of a New York luncheon. It's all lunches. That's all I can say. Possible volatility. We did have some from a speaker that was late yesterday that sort of left a move in the markets that was quite bearish, bullish for the dollar. Okay, so we do have a couple of speakers there. I won't go on to that too much. Let's just look at the markets themselves then, and it's starting off looking at euro dollar. This trend of the euro, it's still leaning on the downside. Every time I look to try and trade it on the downside, it does the upside. So well, where to today then? It's in a horrible bit of price action at the moment. Maybe a reaction at some point off that daily pivot would be quite nice. I will put an alert up there and look for that to see the reaction off of it. Now, if it gets any decent movement, then I've got the S1 to target and the prior lows there. So it's a nice move if it's going to happen, but it's early days at the moment. These tend to move quite fast. People would try and dash into these markets. I say time and time again, just be patient. Probably into the next hour. Let the market show their hand some more. Pound dollar. Again, the market has been largely chopping to the downside. Horrible chop during the intraday sessions at times. Quite rangy effectively, but it's fallen out the bottom of that range, but just coming back into it now. So it's already hit the S1. Potential gain for it to run up to its daily pivot. There's a draw up to there, 75% chance of it getting up to there, but where to from there, really? I would like to sell, but it's already hit the pivot. It's not so attractive. Dollar yen, I've not really been trying to do anything with this, and I'll continue not trying to do anything with this. It's just quite ugly overall there. Aussie dollar. Well, the Aussie, we're closing in on triple bottoms here. See how it reacts if it gets down there, but at the moment we're getting the same bounces we're seeing just about everywhere else at this stage. Already below its S1, chances are it could run off towards its S2 post 8 o'clock. We'll see where it finds resistance. It might push all the way up. The US dollar CAD this morning looking with the dollar looking strong, although we're just having this blip across the markets. This is such a messy old price action, and we've seen here on the 4 hourlies. We have put higher lows in here, so there's a sort of ascending channel-y sort of pattern, but it's not consistent and looks quite ugly. Bit of a reaction at the moment. Again, the pivots could be in play. I really don't like the price action. I'll keep out of it. If you don't like it, don't trade it, is the thing. Here, the New Zealand dollar, I need a retrace basically. I can see what it's doing. It's selling off much nicer than some of the other markets, and it's a nice consistent sell off. Salt broke down yesterday in the afternoon there, 1 o'clock, and carried on pushing to the downside here, and it has since. It's probably much more of a swing to the downside, but I need to get into it, and it's not from here really, it's right towards the low. If it gets back to that daily pivot, there's some scope up there, but they have moved quite strongly through the Asian session. US dollar Swissy, I quite like this for further downside. It has had its bounce off the daily 50 there, just about, at least air kissed it. Lower highs coming through there late last week. This week's been really a drift to the downside. Yesterday drifting off further. I'm just looking at where it is at the moment. We could get a continuation of this drift to the downside. It's more of a swing than anything else. I'd be looking at the bigger time frames. Not the best pattern in terms of swing trading from where it is at this stage. Certainly not the best of patterns, but it just looks weak. Swissy just taking advantage of things. It's a safety currency at the end of the day. Euro yen again reacting time and time again to these prior highs. It reacted again yesterday, kind of fallen off, trying a little bounce at the moment. Maybe we'll see yet another charge up there. What would be preferable is a move back to the downside, but I mean, look how long this has been going for. This is weeks. This is a 4-hourly chart, so you're looking over a number of weeks of this price action, not really going too far. Other pairings, Euro Aussie pushing up in a reasonable uptrend here. Yeah, let's put the higher low in here. We are confirming the upside at this stage. It's been a really weird old market. But again, short term is quite a mess. It's already through. It's R1, R2, almost R3. Real strength there for the euro. The Canadian dollar, euro CAD again pushing up here. Maybe we'll get a break of these highs at some point. It gives us a higher low and more of a charge to the upside. I had been looking on the short side for this market, the way it'd been sitting into this range, but to say it switched over there, put higher lows in there on the intermediate time frame here, and looks like it's got more potential to the upside. Pound Aussie also having making a decent move of things. Got a bit of a pivot swing on the dailies here, forming but not finished. Again, strength into this Aussie dollar. The thing with all these markets, I don't have a single trade at the moment. It's a bit like yesterday when you just look at it and there's nothing that's sitting here at this stage. Now they could come this afternoon. I'll watch carefully. They might come later morning. Sometimes they just set up over the next hour or so. We'll see what happens here. We got the potential. The potential is this Euro US dollar. See what reaction it takes off the daily pivot. But there's not a lot else I want to be there. Be in the Swissy has potential. The dollar Swissy has potential on the downside, but it could be a clear break of these lows, but not ideal for me. But the euro is probably the best of the rest, really. Okay, looking briefly at the indices. Very briefly, let's just look at gold. Gold has been hanging up okay, and it continues to do so. Look on the hourlies, it's pushed up again yesterday properly, and is through its trend line here, holding up. And well, so long as the situation in the Middle East continues, there's risk, and gold will sit there and maybe even push higher. Crude set up lovely. Thank you to can't remember who it was now, but thank you for pointing out the lovely little flag there on the lower time frames. Yesterday it did. I measured the sort of flag pattern. It did do a 50% extension before rolling, and I normally trade it around about 2 o'clock, and it just didn't have anything setting up for me. Didn't set for me, so I didn't trade the first bit because I'm always looking for 2 o'clock on this market, and didn't set, but there certainly was a nice move initially, at least partial. It was over $1 of movement there. Anyway, quite ugly as it sits at the moment, quite an ugly look, but the risk is all to the upside. In other words, it could push up further. Looking at equity markets, well, I'm just going to look here. The Nikkei, just give you a picture of what's been going on. Looking quite ugly here, big gap down there. On the cash market, quite ugly in terms of shaping. The Aussie 200, similar thing here, continuing in this downside. It looks on the swing side, it looks like it's got more downside in play. S&Ps, guess what? Chopping towards the lower side there. Really solid move down there yesterday and continue to do so at this stage here. We've got lower highs in there, looking soft. Looking at the DAX then, DAX again continuing to push to the downside in this 4 hours. It's already starting pushing off there, getting towards lows or whatever else, but at the rate this is running, there's potential for a more sustained move to the downside by the looks of things. There's little to pick it up overall at the moment. The FTSE, this is weekly pictures by the way I'm looking at here. FTSE much more choppier on the weekly side and rangy obviously then on the dailies, but again coming off so far this morning. These could all change. We've got to be careful. You think the markets at this time of the morning, it all looks right, we'll sell these, and you run into a half an hour later and they're all turning. But at the moment this certainly looks on the weaker side of things. Okay, that's pretty much it for me this morning. So there's very little I want to do out there, but keep the gunpowder dry, as they say. Right, I'll wish you a great day's trading. If there's anything worth shouting about, I'll shout. Take care. Bye for now.